Live from Channels Television. Reporting tonight, Wawodo.
Hello and welcome. Tonight, President Bola Tinubu returns to the country after his annual leave in the United Kingdom and France. Commiserations continue to stream in for the government and the people of Jigawa State after a tank explosion claimed 170 lives, leaving 70 others hospitalized. And the All Progressives Congress, the APC, wins all the 23 local government chairmanship seats, as well as the 255 councillorship positions across Kaduna State. On sports, third seed Karen Kachanov reached his second ATP Tour final of the season after fighting back to beat Australia's Alexandra Vukic 6-7, 6-3, 6-4 at Auntie Open.
And on business news, federal government seeks a fresh $500 million loan from the World Bank to support basic education as part of efforts to reform the struggling sector.
The president has returned to Nigeria after his weeks of annual leave in the United Kingdom. President Bola Tinubu, who arrived at the Nnamdi Azikiwe International Airport this evening, was welcomed by a team of government officials, the national chairman of the ruling All Progressives Congress, Abdullahi Ganduje, Governor Babajide Sanwo-Olu of Lagos State, his chief of staff, Femi Gbajabiamila, the national security advisor, Nuhu Ribadu, among others. The two-week working leave is part of his annual leave. President Tinubu left the country for the United Kingdom on October the 2nd on what the presidency described as a working leave and a time of reflection about his administration since taking over the reins of leadership in May 2023. 10 days later, however, President Tinubu's senior special assistant on political matters, Kabir Masari, said his principal had left for the UK for France.
The kind of work he's been doing in the last year and a half requires some rest, and he's gone and he's back now, and he's well rested, rejuvenated, and again, it was even just a working holiday anyway. So he was working and resting at the same time. Now that he's back in Nigeria, all hands are back on deck, and he's ready to go.
Okay, what do you think Nigerians should be expecting now that he's back and ready to get back to work?
Just to continue from where he left off in terms of putting policies in place and making sure things are done right, making sure we're going the right direction. He's the captain of the captain of the plane, and he's working to get to a cruising level, which is exactly where we're going. And in a matter of time, Nigerians will begin to see the fruits of his labor and our labor. And so, I mean, just we're all expectant and hopeful, and we believe in the renewed hope. And Mr. President is back in Nigeria to continue the good work he's doing.
The Minister of the Federal Capital Territory, Abuja, Nyesom Wike, says the crisis rocking the People's Democratic Party, the PDP, is self-inflicted by those he accuses of attempting to misinterpret the party's constitution. He says the amended constitution of the party clearly laid out the plan for leadership succession. The former Rivers State governor was speaking in Port Harcourt, the state capital, at the luncheon he organized in honor of the 27 lawmakers of the Rivers State House of Assembly who were loyal to him. And we'll bring you details of that luncheon later in the course of the bulletin. Meanwhile, commiserations have continued to pour in for the government and the people of Jigawa State after the sad tank explosion that claimed 170 lives and another 70 people hospitalized. The chairman of the Nigerian Governors Forum, Abdulrahman Abdulrazak of Kwara State, and the governor of Abba Yusuf of Kano State are all among those that paid condolence visits to Governor Omar Namadi of Jigawa State. The Minister of State for Petroleum, Oil, Mr. Heineken Lopobiri, also visited the state. Our correspondent Nanchin Vincent reports.
Sympathizers continue to troop into the Jigawa State Government House to condole with Governor Umar Namadi after the petrol tanker explosion in Major town of Taura local government area of the state. From the neighboring state, Governor Abba Yusuf of Kano is among the early callers and pledged the sum of 100 million naira to support victims.
Kano state government felt the pain because Kano and Jigawa are brothers and sisters. In view of that, on behalf of the Kano state government and the good people of the state, I wish to announce a token donation of 100 million naira.
The chairman of the Nigerian Governors Forum and chairman Northern Governors Forum also identified with the people of the state during the mourning period.
It's about more information dissemination in our communities about the danger of tanker explosion, oil spillage, containment. So it's about passing more information about the dangers and hazards of this thing, which will deepen and continue to do.
Former Governor of Kano and APC National Chairman Mr. Umar Ganduje also paid condolence.
With what I have listed, what else can the government do? The government has done its best. And that is what a government is expected to do. But lives have been lost, about 171 so far. So we too continue to pray for those who lost their lives. And those who are in the hospital, we pray to Almighty Allah for quick recovery.
Join me in welcoming His Excellency with the richest.
Businessman Aliko Dangote also visited the Jigawa Government House and made pledges of 1 million naira for each family that lost loved ones.
Our foundation will give 1 million naira to each of the members of the departed. Yes. And those that are in the hospital, each one will collect 250,000 to look after themselves.
The Minister of Petroleum and Oil was also in the state to reassure Nigerians that measures are being put in place to ensure that such does not reoccur.
We came, to convey our condolences to you and the government and people of Jigawa State. We believe that the authorities of NMDPRA cannot be everywhere, and that was why we solicited for the support of road safety. And as we speak today, we have road safety officers that are attached to all our depots, so that vehicles will be certified roadworthy, before they depart.
The minister later visited the site of the incident, where he described the incident as the worst in recent times. From Jigawa State, Nanchin Vincent, Channels Television News.
In politics now, the All Progressives Congress, the APC, has won all the 23 local government chairmanship seats, as well as the 255 councillorship positions across the state. The Kaduna State Electoral Independence Commission Chairman Hajara Mohammed, who announced the results, says that 8 political parties, the ADC, APC, APGA, Labour Party, NNPP, the PDP, PRP, and YPP all filed in candidates in the election. According to the SACOM chairman, the 23 local government returning officers and 255 wards returning declared the results in their respective constituencies and submitted their results in accordance with the law alongside other presiding officers.
Residents of Kaduna State across the 23 local government areas came out early to participate in the local government elections. According to the Kaduna State Electoral Commission, polling units opened as scheduled, though there were reports of late arrival of voting materials in some places. Governor Obasani cast his vote at the LEA Kawo polling unit in Kaduna North local government area. After performing his civic right, he gives an assessment of the exercise, emphasizing the need to strengthen local government administration.
Some of our agents have been going around. The report reaching us is that the election is free, fair, and peaceful. I can say that we had some few issues in one or two local governments, but in only about 2 or 3 polling units or wards. But generally, the election is going on in about 23 local governments, and the report we're hearing is that it's largely peaceful, fair, and transparent. And I have no doubt in my mind at the end of the day, we will be able to have a very credible election in Kaduna State. Like I said, this is a local government election that is very important for us. And of course, you are aware that APC have gone around all the 255 wards to campaign. That is the reason why I'm extremely very confident that APC will come out victorious in this very election by the grace of God.
The state chairman of the Inter-Party Advisory Council describes the election as largely peaceful and transparent.
Quite okay. There is some delay in some of the sensitive materials that are within the localities of Kaduna South and Kaduna North. Normally, during elections, the far distance areas, the election materials will go in the night. The ones in Kaduna will go in the morning. So that is what transferred. Before coming in here, I called Kaduna South and I called Kaduna North, but the election materials are being delivered already.
After the collation of results from the 23 local government areas, the State Independent Electoral Commission declares the All Progressives Congress winner of the election across the state.
By the power vested on the Commission, I hereby wish to confirm the result earlier collated and returned by the returning officers. APC won the 23 local government chairmanship position and the 23 and 255 ward councillorship position across the state.
In the coming days, Governor Sani is expected to swear in the winners of the chairmanship seats, while councillors will take their oath of office at the headquarters of their local government.
There was also a local government election in Kogi State where the governor, Usman Ododo, commended the peaceful conduct of the elections there across the 21 local government areas of the state. Governor Ododo stated that shortly after casting his vote in his home country in Upogoro community in Okene local government area of the state, the governor commended the people for conducting themselves during the exercise.
Across the 21 local government areas of Kogi State, residents trooped to polling units to vote for the chairman and councillors of local government areas in the state. Governor Usman Ododo also participated in the exercise in Okene local government area to cast his vote. After casting his vote, he assures the people that the policies of the administration of President Bola Tinubu will soon yield positive results and called for the support of the people.
The election is going on very peacefully, transparently, credibly, and we are hopeful that the voice of the people will speak today. I don't have any doubt in our people that they know the good that Mr. President has laid out as far as this country is concerned, and they want to use today to appreciate Mr. President.
In Lokoja, the state capital, officials of the local government election monitoring unit inspect the conduct of the exercise at the Bishop Crowther polling unit. The officials commend the conduct of the exercise.
We are here to observe the processes and the procedure of polls as far as local government election is concerned in Kogi State. And we are indeed impressed because we find out that people have conducted themselves peacefully and in accordance with the law.
The chairman of Kogi State Independent Electoral Commission also monitored some polling units and expressed satisfaction with the turnout of voters.
what we have seen, there's peaceful atmosphere for people to exercise their franchise, and we saw security agencies manned in case of any eventuality. So far, we've not had any challenge anywhere. I've not had any yet, and I don't hope to have.
Nevertheless, some opposition parties are already raising concerns over the conduct of the exercise.
In part two, after the break, the Nigerian Electricity Regulatory Commission, NERC, blames the most recent national grid collapse on the explosion of the transformer at the Jeba transmission station. Please join us again. Welcome back. If you've just joined us, you're watching the news at 10 on Channels Television, broadcasting live from Lagos. A reminder of our main stories. President Bola Tinubu returns to the country after his annual leave in the United Kingdom and France. Commiserations continue to stream in for the government and people of Jigawa State after a tanker explosion claimed 170 lives, leaving 70 hospitalized. And the All Progressives Congress, the APC, wins all the 23 local government chairmanship seats, as well as the 255 councillorship positions across Kaduna State. We go back to our earlier story on the Minister of the Federal Capital Territory, Nyesom Wike, saying that the crisis rocking the People's Democratic Party, the PDP, is self-inflicted by those who he accuses of attempting to misinterpret the party's constitution. It says the amended constitution of the party clearly laid out the plan for leadership succession. The former Rivers State governor was speaking in Port Harcourt at the luncheon he organized in honor of the 27 lawmakers of the Rivers State House of Assembly who were loyal to him.
It's an event that brings together notable politicians in Rivers State who are loyal to the Minister of Federal Capital Territory, Nyesom Wike, in the political crisis rocking the oil-rich state. The long list of dignitaries are the private residence of the FCT minister in Port Harcourt. The venue of the event includes serving and former federal lawmakers loyal to the minister, as well as former members of the State Executive Council and elders. The event is principally organized by the FCT minister to appreciate the 27 lawmakers of the State Assembly who have been at variance with Governor Siminalayi Fubara on state affairs. It also affords an opportunity for opinions on the legality of factions in the Rivers State House of Assembly.
Democracy is anchored on the principle of different arms of government and separation of powers to ensure checks and balances. We have stood for those principles.
It is a legislature that represents the people of our state, and the real power of our state, particularly the power of appropriation of funds, is vested in the legislature. Power to the assembly members.
For the PDP chairman in Rivers State, the 27 pro-Wike lawmakers remain members of the PDP, just as the APC says his attempts to wow the lawmakers failed.
We are not being influenced by anything that money can do. I want to thank all of you. And to say to the whole people that are here that you are my party members. Today, I told the press when we were talking that the issues in Rivers State are beginning to narrow down. The people who are leading the legislative arm has been properly defined, and no Jupiter can upturn it. It is a joke taken too far for three persons to say that they are the legislature of the Rivers State.
The FCT minister, while commending the 27 lawmakers for their steadfastness, insists that the just concluded local government elections in Rivers State was illegal and the outcome is not constitutionally recognized.
What we are saying, for you to conduct the local government election, You must follow the procedure, the law, the electoral act is there. You must follow it. And that INEC, you're the custodian of the voters register. If they therefore do not follow the procedure, INEC do not release the register. And to stop INEC, you cannot go to the state high court. You will go to where?
The former River State governor also delves into the crisis rocking the People's Democratic Party, saying it was orchestrated by those who tried to upturn the constitution of the party.
Article group believe that I and my team stopped them from becoming president. We stopped injustice. What we stopped was what? Injustice. All we wanted was equity, fairness, and what? Justice. And we told PDP, if you don't allow this, you will pay. Am I hiding it? Do you not tell them they will pay for it? So what you are saying, I think you group believe that we stop them from being a president. Now you know, if you know, you know.
As events in the political crisis rocking River State continues to unfold, the people of River State will be hoping that swords are sheathed to enable governance be conducted free of rancor that affects development.
Now you know. Now you know. Now you know. Now you know.
Former President Goodluck Jonathan has been speaking on his relationship with the late president of the Ohanaeze Ndigbo, Chief Emmanuel Iwuanyanwu, who died on July the 25th, 2024, after a brief illness. He was aged 81. Speaking at the night of tribute for the late businessman, the former president explained how he enjoyed the support of late Chief Iwuanyanwu throughout his political career, describing his death as a colossal loss to Nigeria. The ceremony, which held at the National Christian Center in Abuja, was attended by an array of Southeast leaders, including former Governor of Imo State, Rochas Okorocha, former Senate President, Anyim Pius Anyim, Minister of Women Affairs, Uju Kennedy Ohanenye, former Governor of Imo State, Achike Udenwa, former Senate President, Adolphus Nwabara, Minister of Works, Mr. Dave Umahi, former Deputy Speaker of the House of Representatives, Emeka Ihedioha, Senator Oju Zokalu, traditional rulers, business associates, among others.
He was a very active politician and a senior member of PDP, my party. He contested presidency 3 times. He was not lucky to get it. But I got it, I'm like his son in the politics. Iwuanyanwu was one of the senior members of PDP that was strongly behind me in all my political journey from the days of when I was a deputy governor. People may not know, but he was as if he knew that I was going to grow higher than a deputy governor. He took me as a son, mentored me up to till I became a governor, vice president, president. He was always interacting with me and advising and making suggestions. I know in those days that this country was in a state of confusion when the president was so sick and everybody was confused. He on his own used to organize prayers for me. He didn't tell people. So he's somebody that was very dear to me. So when somebody passes on, the only thing we all remember is the works the person did when he was on earth. And I always tell people that whenever you go for burials, always ask yourself, when I leave this earth, what will people talk about me?
The Nigerian Electricity Regulatory Commission, NERC, says that it will conduct an investigative public hearing to address the recurring grid collapse and the widespread outage. NERC says that it has noted with deep concern the recent escalating incidents of grid disturbances, often leading to marked outage in several states, and as such reversing many of the gains recently achieved in reducing infrastructure deficit and improving grid stability. The statement issued by the Commission says initial reports on the grid disturbances that occurred this morning indicate that the outage was triggered by an explosion of a current transformer at the Jeba transmission station, an associated cascade of power plants shut down arising from the loss of load. NERC adds that the efforts to restore supply have advanced with power significantly restored as at 1 p.m. in 33 states and the Federal Capital Territory. The Commission notes that in line with provisions of Electricity Act 2023, the unbundling of the system operator function out of Transmission Company of Nigeria PLC is ongoing, with the expectation that an independent commission will soon engender more discipline and grid management and optimized investment in infrastructure. In January 2024, the federal government announced that the transgenic teller maize varieties in the country has now been released. The variety belongs to a category known as genetically modified organisms, adapted to resist pests and increase yields for farmers. Our next report takes a look at the latest scientific adoptions, its concerns raised by citizens, and of course how it can help the nation achieve its food security vision.
One of the visions of the present administration is food security, and the government, through its agencies, continue to deploy innovation and tools that will help address the gap experienced. The introduction of the teller maize variety aims to close the national maize production deficit, estimated at 6 million tons annually.
If we continue like this with teller maize, we don't need to import any maize from any other country. We don't need to go to start struggling to import from Brazil, from Argentina, from US. We don't need to, because we do have what it takes to produce. Imagine if you are farming with the local seed, you are getting 2 to 2.5 tons per hectare. And now go and investigate with the farmers. With best practice, you can get up to 10 tons per hectare.
Professor Mustafa Abdullahi highlights the benefit of the new variety of maize and also clears the air on the health implications on humans as speculated in some quarters.
This research that you are seeing is not just when you wake up, go and do it according to your wish. No, because humans are benefiting from it. There is a regulation, and this regulation is being drawn and is watched everywhere in the world. The world scientists are watching this regulation. Do you follow it? Yes. You don't follow it? Stop. That is the beauty about it. So science is not anyhow. It's not like you just go to the market and you start doing whatever you want. No, there is a regulation in it.
We visited the demonstration farm for the teller maize variety. On this 0.5 hectare of land, our guide leads us to how the improved maize variety is growing alongside a local variety and other crops. A quick harvest at the farm shows some great results. While the improved variety shows great yield per cob, the local variety, on the other hand, shows lesser yield and infestation by disease.
The leaves of a crop are being destroyed because the leaves are very, very important when it comes to photosynthesis. And it's through photosynthetic activity that
the adoption of the improved maize variety will help stimulate growth in related industries, create jobs, and drive rural development.
Still ahead on the news at 10, federal government seeks fresh $500 million loan from the World Bank to support basic education as part of efforts to reform the struggling sector. That's on Business News. Please stay with us. Welcome back. The Institute of Human Virology of Nigeria has renewed its pledge to continue to support the public health sector in Nigeria to promote the fight against infectious and non-communicable diseases. The board and management of the institute gave this commitment at the celebration of its 20th anniversary dinner and award night held in Abuja, the nation's capital, to chart a way forward for the next phase of the institute and celebrate some of its pioneer staff.
20 this year.
Established in 2004, the Institute of Human Virology has a mandate to support efforts against diseases like AIDS, hepatitis, measles, amongst others. After 20 years, the Chief Executive Officer talks about the journey so far.
I can remember the faces of those children. I can also remember the faces of children that are born with HIV, children that now we're at the point of death and we have a picture of them. Now, a child that was born with HIV when we started, a number of them now are ready to get married. They're doing well. They would have not been alive. I think 20 years journey has put smiles on the faces of a lot of beneficiaries, and we are grateful to God for that.
For the board and management, the institute will not only do more in Nigeria, but expand across the continent.
A journey of 1,000 miles starts with one step and starts in one day. It takes a lot of energy. It takes a lot of forbearance. It takes a lot of strength, determination, but more importantly, purposefulness.
If anybody asks me where IHVN and ICER is going to be in the next 20 years, I think the sky is the limit. Because we've got in IHVN individuals that have never stopped dreaming. And don't you ever stop dreaming.
The next 30 years is going to be progress. We will try as much as possible to bring our operation to bear on the health challenges of Nigeria. We are just starting. The sky is the limit, and all that we do will be to protect the health of Nigeria and enhance access to equitable healthcare in Nigeria.
To wrap up the event, some staff of the organization were awarded for their contributions to its growth and development.
Alternative livelihood programs for artisanal refineries are a key strategy to ensuring that areas currently undergoing remediation from oil degradation do not face a repopulation or repollution. And this is coming from the Hydrocarbon Pollution Remediation Project HYPREP's Director of Technical Services, Dr. Damian Agui. He was speaking shortly after HYPREP's meeting with regulators and stakeholders held in Port Harcourt, the River State capital. Our correspondent Deborah Balama reports.
Held on the 11th of July 2024.
The quarterly stakeholders meeting brings together representatives from the federal and state ministries of environment, health and water resources, alongside the National Oil Spill Detection and Response Agency, NOSTRA, and several civil society organizations, CSOs. These meetings are designed to assess past actions, review progress reports, and brainstorm on ways to enhance ongoing efforts in line with recommendations from the United Nations Environment Programme, UNEP.
This bonfire bunker activity. And you see most of them in town hall. And after finishing our presentation on that, one question always asks is, if we leave it, what's the alternative? If we live doing this thing, how do we eat? So if this empowerment also has that focus on these boys, it will help to resolve these repollution issues.
HYPREP's Director of Technical Services, while shedding more light on the livelihood programs, noted that this initiative is essential to prevent repollution of sites that are being cleaned.
We need to keep engaging our stakeholders and regulators all the time
to keep them abreast of what is happening at our various sites and generally what's happening with the project. And so I think that they're generally happy with the progress made so far by the project. Section by section of some of the components we are handling. We are handling remediation, we are handling health, we are handling water, we are handling restoration projects in like mangrove, shoreline cleanup. We are doing livelihood changes and all that.
One of the civil society organizations representatives present at the meeting speaks about the ongoing HYPREP projects.
Being here today in this stakeholders meeting where we are brief on the status update of the project, I think it's in line with what we have been observing, and that was why the few questions raised are on issues that seems to be at variance with what we know. But on a good note, I think is a submission of what we know in remediation, what we know in mangrove restoration, what we know in the water project, and what we know in the level restoration.
HYPREP's management believes that meaningful collaborations between stakeholders and regulators is critical. They express hope that these collaborations will lead to a lasting solution, creating a cleaner and healthy environment for affected communities in Ogoni land.
This whole water thing started.
Deborah Abalama, Channels Television News.
MTN Foundation has renovated, fully equipped and solar-powered physics, chemistry, biology and agric laboratories in Union Secondary School, Akunano in Enugu State. Inaugurating the laboratories on the Executive Director of MTN Foundation, Mrs. Odunayo Saya, says that the foundation will also construct a solar-powered water borehole to grant 24 hours availability of water to the laboratories and ensure their optimal functionality. Mr. Sawyer says the MTN Foundation is focused on promoting science and technology by renovating and equipping science laboratories, providing training for teachers and attendants nationwide to enhance teaching and learning experience in key science subjects.
Seated here are staff and members of MTN Foundation, representatives of Enugu State Government, Old Boys Association, staff and students of Union Secondary School, and management of the Union Secondary School, Akunono. It's a gathering to officially commission and hand over the newly renovated, fully equipped solar-powered physics laboratory, chemistry, biology, and agric laboratories, an internet-enabled research center here in Union Secondary School, Enugu. While some students try out their hands in the laboratory, others are here in the hall to entertain their guests. The executive director of MTN Foundation shared some insight on what the MTN Science and Technology project is all about and the motivation behind it.
The MTN Science and Technology Laboratory project focuses on renovating and remodeling, revitalizing and equipping science laboratories, providing training for teachers and laboratory attendants, and ultimately enhancing the teaching and learning experience in key science subjects.
While the sponsors appeal to the school management and students to judiciously use and maintain the laboratories, the acting principal says it is a done deal.
I plead with the students, the board of the school, the teachers, help us to make this a gift that keeps on giving.
So long as I'm going to be here, we are going to protect it. We are going to utilize it. We are going to put it into use. That's the appreciation you need.
The solar-powered laboratories and internet-enabled research center are officially commissioned and handed over to the school as the guest toured the place.
In the name of God the Son, and in the name of God the Holy Spirit.
President of the Old Boys Association as well as the school proprietor expressed their gratitude to MTN for the initiative.
The world is going STEM now, STEM. Science, technology, mathematics, and anything and any education, especially for young students and youths at large, that does not incorporate this area is lacking in depth, in content, and in quality.
So this is a historical moment. It's a very big league. Something has happened here. It's an explosion, and it's a movement.
The MTN Foundation has also promised to construct a solar-powered water borehole to grant 24 hours availability of water to the laboratories and ensure their optimal functionality by the first week of December 2024.
The Federal Road Safety Commission says that at least 124 people have died and about 400 injured in accidents involving 167 vehicles on Oyo-Ogbomoso Road in the past 9 months. Residents and commuters who use the road say they have made series of appeals to the federal government without any respite. Addressing journalists, the Shaun of Oshogbo, His Royal Majesty Olaoye Gandhi, also joined other indigenes of Ogbomoso to plead to the federal government to expedite action to complete the abandoned road project and end the frequent carnage on that route.
The chaos that constantly erupts on the Oyo-Ogbomoso road is better imagined rather than experienced. This aerial shot gives an idea of the crisis that characterizes everyday travel on that road. Motorists, who mostly transport farm produce and industrial raw materials, have had to spend days on the road because the new road had been abandoned, so they had to reroute their products to the old road, which is narrow with lots of black spots. The Oyo-Ogbomoso road is a major link road between the south and the northern part of the country.
The truth is that it has not only affected Ogbomoso land, it has affected the country as a whole, because this is a bypass to the north, a major bypass to the north. And a lot of trailers carrying things from the south to the north, from the north to the south.
If you are going home and you are in that road, you see more than almost 1,000 trailers on both sides stand still, and the tanker are causing accident because they carry fuel.
Drivers, traders, and residents share their experiences on the road.
I'm taking petrol from Lagos, Kano, Sokoto, Maiduguri. So we are taking a lot of times. Our money don't finish, everything don't finish. We are feeling hungry.
This road, I can't call it a den of death. It's very serious. We need an assistance from any part of the government, any parastatal of the government. Maybe it is the federal or the state. Someone should just come and help us.
The sector commander, Your Road Safety Commission, attributes the major problem on the road to the attitude of drivers who exhibit indiscipline on the road.
Always know that you are sharing the road. Give concession to other road users too. Keep the lane. Lane discipline is very important. Keep to your lane. Don't start making use of the lane of oncoming vehicles. We call it route violation, and it's actually an offense with FRSC.
Efforts are underway by all concerned to ensure that government does something urgently.
The government should prioritize roads like this. This is artery to the north, and those roads, there should be priority on fixing them.
Residents call on the federal government to fix the old road as they await the completion of the abandoned new road. Just how fast the government would act on this remains to be seen in the days ahead. Bukola Oriwu, Channels Television News.
From infrastructure, we delve into the world of business, where Laddie Williams is standing by to take us through the stories.
Thanks, Anne. Well, in business, as part of efforts to address the challenges in Nigeria's education sector, the federal government is discussing with the World Bank for the possibility of securing a $500 million loan to support basic education. According to the program information document from the Bretton Woods Institution, the loan request, which is expected to receive formal approval by March 2025, is part of Nigeria's broader human capital development strategy, which aims to build a skilled and productive workforce by 2030. The total cost of the operation is estimated at $554 million, with initial amounts coming from the World Bank, while the remaining $54 million will be sourced through a Global Partnership for Education grant. In May this year, the federal government secured a $500 million loan from the World Bank to fund electricity distribution companies, while the country's total debt to the Bretton Woods institution currently stands at about $17.16 billion. As Nigeria aims for a $1 trillion economy, stakeholders are calling for technological adoption at Nigeria's borders and financial system. At a workshop organized by the Finance and Business online publishers, participants discuss how technological advancements can transform our financial system and borders to achieve a $1 trillion economy.
Introduce yourself, your medium, and your question.
Gathered in this hall are stakeholders in Nigeria's financial ecosystem, regulators and entrepreneurs, and on the front burner of this workshop organized by Finance and Business online publishers is exploring how technological advancements can transform our financial systems and improve overall efficiency. Adoption of technology by regulators in Nigeria has had its challenges, and the Controller General of Customs, Mr. Adewale Adeniyi, represented by the Controller Tinkan Island Command, Deran Nadi, emphasized the importance of technology at the ports.
Resistance to change is one of the challenges that we have. Personnel accustomed to manual processes may resist adopting new technologies, necessitating robust training and change management strategies. One of the key change management strategies that we need is what we are doing here today, and I wish we will have the entire maritime media and all the stakeholders to be part of what you are doing here today. Awareness and clearance of ignorance about opportunities in the industry is what we need. Everybody likes his comfort zone. So whenever you introduce a new innovation in the system, the initial thing for people to do is to resist it.
Also highlighted is the importance of integrating digital solutions into financial infrastructure.
Financial infrastructure to enable inclusion is very key to the economic development of this country. The current president of Nigeria, President Tinubu, is someone that believes so much in the informal sector. And financial technology and infrastructure that can facilitate the inclusion of the informal sector will jumpstart this economy.
It is hoped that with adoption of relevant technologies in Nigeria's ports and financial system, transactions will become more seamless and borders smart.
And foreign exchange trading activities between banks and their clients at the FMDQ exchange ended positive this week as total turnover of transactions carried out rose by $1.6 billion at the close of this week. This amount represents a 4.58% week-on-week increase against the more than $1.5 billion value of transactions recorded last week. According to the FMDQ, the week-on-week increase in total turnover was largely driven by a 5% rise in turnover on the FX spot segment of the FX markets, which offset the 100%, about $6.5 million increase in FX derivatives turnover. Elsewhere on the FMDQ platform, the Naira depreciated by 0.79% to 1,647 Naira, 91 kobo against the dollar at the Nigerian Autonomous Foreign Exchange Fixing Window, in contrast to the 1,634 Naira, 84 kobo recorded last week. And despite recording losses in 3 trading sessions, the domestic stock market ended the 3rd trading week of October with a nearly 0.5% gain to close slightly above the 98,000 level. This comes after the 3.34 trillion naira gain recorded in the week, which largely was driven by a listing of integrated energy company Aradol Holdings, sustained the total value of equities listed on the NGX by 5% to close at 59 trillion naira. At the same time, the activity chart and sectoral performance of listed stocks ended with mixed sentiments due to a combination of bargain hunting and profit-taking by investors. The share price of Transco Power was top among 32 gainers as it went up 19.29%. Regency Assurance led 42 other losers with a 15.28% loss in value, while the trio of Japol Gold, UBA and Zenith Bank were the top 3 contributors to a total of 1.44 billion shares traded this week. And that's it for me on business. It's back to Anne with the rest of the news at 10.
Thank you, Ladi. Let's begin with the English Premier League. In the world of sports, 10-man Arsenal suffered a 2-0 defeat at the hands of Bournemouth at the Vitality Stadium. Despite scoring first, West Ham tasted defeat, and that's after losing 4-1 to Tottenham with Mohamed Kudus sent off in the 86th minute. Elsewhere, Manchester United came from behind to beat Brighton 2-1, courtesy of goals from Alejandro Garnacho and Rasmus Højlund. In other matches, Aston Villa fought back to beat Fulham 3-1 at Villa Park, while Brighton defeated Newcastle 1-0. Iliman and Ndiaye, Michael Caine were on target as Everton beat New Boys Ipswich Town 2-0. Leicester City secured a priceless 3-2 away victory over Southampton at St Mary's Stadium. And Manchester City boss Pep Guardiola admits part of him will leave the club next summer with the departure of sporting director Tixi Christian. Guardiola also is the winner of 6 Premier League titles and the Champions League in his 8 years at the Etihad Stadium, is out of contract at the end of the season. His now impending exit will raise further questions about Guardiola's future, but the champions return to action after the international break with a trip to Wolverhampton Wanderers on Sunday. Russia's Karen Khachanov booked his own place at the Almaty Open final, and that's after defeating Australia's Alexandra Vukic in the semis. Khachanov had to fight from a set down to beat Vukic 6-7, 6-3, 6-4. The 28-year-old will now face Gabriel Diallo of Canada in the final. Meanwhile, Canada's Gabriel Diallo eased his own past 4th-seeded Francisco of Argentina to secure his spot in the final. Diallo overpowered Cherodolo at 6-4, 6-2 as he advanced to his maiden ATP Tour final. Away from sports outside our shores, Israel has struck what it says as Hezbollah's arms facility in southern Beirut today after the Lebanese armed group fired rockets into northern Israel. And a spokesman said the drone was launched at Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu's holiday home. Mr. Netanyahu was not there at the time. It was not immediately clear if the building was hit, but he describes it as an assassination attempt by Iran's proxy Hezbollah, calling it a grave mistake as Israel prepares to retaliate for an Iranian missile barrage earlier this month. The strikes come as health officials in Gaza, where Israel has been trying to root out Palestinian militant group Hamas for more than 1 year now, says that Israeli bombardments had killed at least 35 people and a siege around 3 hospitals had tightened. And the main news again. President Bola Tinubu has returned to the country after his annual leave in the United Kingdom and France. Commiserations have continued to pour in for the government and the people of Jigawa State after a tanker explosion claimed 170 lives, leaving 70 others hospitalized. Well, that's the news at 10 tonight. Thank you so much for watching. I'm Anne Nwawadu. Good night.